I don't think she and I ever felt like we had anyone to compete with. It was more a competition with ourselves. That we both had goals and we both had dreams, and together we could do more. And I think that was our competitive edge, and it wasn't about anybody else. It was just about us.
We both had our own businesses separately. Mm-hmm. So Nikki had her style and I had my style. Mm-hmm. And I guess in a way we could have been competition for each other here in town. But instead of seeing it as that, we took it on as you do something and I do something, and those combined, we can create a great product. When we met, and it wasn't like we weren't butting heads. She wasn't trying to do what I was doing. I wasn't trying to do what she was doing. We really both were just thinking, let's combine forces and make it like a powerhouse of a team who can do baking and decorating. And then we took on new things. We tried new items that we had never baked before.
That's how we fit. She's constantly pushing to be better, and I'm constantly pushing to be better, but we're also constantly pushing to be better for one another.
Right now I'm just pulling some Snickerdoodle cupcakes for a special order. So I just sort of pile everything up, write my notes, write my recipes, if I don't recall them, and pull. And then I've got cakes going for orders as well. Everything is made from scratch in small batches.
I moved here from North Carolina, and in North Carolina, I had just won that episode of Cupcake Wars, and I was ready to take my business to the next level. I was married to a Marine, and he was selected to go recruiting duty. And that means that you pack up your whole family and you move to a place that you've probably never been to. And I didn't want to leave. I was so afraid that if I left, that I was giving up the biggest pieces of myself that I had worked so hard to achieve and that I personally identified with. And so I felt like being removed from the location in which I had worked so hard at and worked at farmers markets and won that huge, awesome episode of Cupcake Wars, I had to move. And I made the decision to move with my family. Moving to Amarillo, I immediately start Googling, how am I going to be in Amarillo and be successful in Amarillo, and what are the most notable neighborhoods to be successful in Amarillo? And quite a few interesting little spots ended up popping up, to include Route 66. I think that strikes a tickle in everyone's fancy, if you will. People love Route 66. You can travel Route 66. Route 66 is historic in so many ways, and yet the gentleman that was finding me a place was interested in putting me on 6th Street. And so in my mind, I thought I had hit the lottery. I was moving into Amarillo, Texas, and I was going to be on Route 66, and I was going to be successful because it's so popular. Turns out the location's in the financial district, and the financial district to your quote-unquote original Route 66 was a little bit different, and McKinzie is a little more adept at Route 66, the actual Route 66, if you will.
Right, because I grew up on it. I started working at the Golden Light Cafe when I was probably too young for me to even mention the age.
Sure.
And was there for 10 years. And when I was about 15, I started making some pies at home, and Angela, the owner of Golden Light, was allowing me to sell them under the cottage food law. And so when I met Nikki and knew she was downtown, it kind of solidified that love for Route 66, the love for being on Route 66, because it was so neat. There's so many shops, there's so many things to do. However, here we are about a mile away from where all of the hustle and bustle is, but the Golden Light Cafe is the oldest operating restaurant on all of Route 66, still in its same location. And we provide coconut cream pie for them all the time, and we love that they allow us to do that, and that lets us expand what we do here a little bit further into the old Route 66 of it all. So we were presented with an awesome opportunity a little over 2 years ago now, where just across the way from the bakery is the First Bank Southwest Tower. It's the tallest building in Amarillo.
You can see it from anywhere.
In the lobby of that is a little coffee shop, and they've had it there for years and years. But over the past maybe 8 years, 10 years, they've just had a lot of turnaround. There's been a lot of in and outs, and they can't keep someone in the space, but it truly caters to the building itself.
It does.
And we were approached by one of the management offices there, and they just said, we see you, we know you hustle, we know you girls work hard. Is there any way you would be willing to pop in here and start something and try to just cater to the building. And it's awesome. It's called Roast and Toast. That was a really awesome opportunity for us, and we're still rocking and rolling with it, and we have an incredible staff over there. So that was one thing that kind of took us to the next level.
Coming from a background in journalism, I retired as city editor, and I'm always looking for a great story. And when Nikki opened the place, it was called the Wild Cupcake. It was just exciting because we could show off that Amarillo, for its size as a mid-sized city, we had some Food Network stars right here, and that sparked people's interest. But we had a lot of empty storefronts, and showing that they could make a success, even as they have pivoted through pandemic and all kinds of challenges. When they see the success of small entrepreneurs like Scratch Made, I think it encourages them.
Macaroons right up here. Varieties change weekly, so you never know what you're going to get, but it will always be delicious. We've got our cookies. We like to think the bigger the better. I think that's typically a Texas thing, if you will. And this is what was left of Saturday's baking.
She and I didn't roll into owning a business thinking we are going to be strong, women-owned businesses.
We were just trying
to get by, pay some bills. But we are a woman-owned business, and we are a successful woman-owned business. But till recently, we had all women on staff. So my son works with us, and then we've had a couple of men come in and out. But ultimately, we're just two hardworking gals that are just trying to make a living doing what we love to do. Being that we're women is super interesting. Being downtown as a woman-owned business, I don't know that I can think of any off the top of my head outside of the restaurant across the street from us, woman-owned business.
OHMS.
OHMS is an excellent spot.
So, we just happen to have a business because that's what we were good at, and the only way to thrive in this industry
if you're going to work hard at something, at least work hard at what you love to do, and we've both been fortunate enough to do that, and we just happen to be women.